Hey, how's it going guys? Welcome to another video on the channel. So in this video we're going to be talking about the Mac Mini, the product that's causing waves in the tech community at the moment because of how small it is and how powerful it is as well. And the price as well. The price is only $599 for the base model Mac Mini with the M4 Pro chip. And that's a super price for what you're getting. So let's get into it guys. This is the actual Mac Mini itself and take a look at it. It's tiny. When I put it in my palm, just that's how it fits in my palm, and that's how small it is. So it's a really small device, and it's 5 by 5 inches. So it's a really small footprint there, and on a desk it doesn't take up a lot of space. So it's really good in that sense. It's made of a really premium aluminium, and it feels really quite dense in the hand for how it looks. So it actually looks like it's light, but it actually is pretty dense in the hand when you hold it. So we get some ports on the back. We've got 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports here. We get a HDMI port. We get a gigabit Ethernet port here and the power port here. And on the front, we get USB ports here, which support USB up to USB 3. And we get a headphone jack here as well. And then obviously we get the Apple logo, which looks super nice there. It comes in a really stunning silver color, and it looks premium, and it looks pretty small as well. So I think it will be a really nice addition to any desk, and it looks really smart and premium on the desk when you have it there. So I picked it up 2 weeks ago. I've been using it for a couple of weeks now, and I really like it. I actually love it. I really enjoy using it, and I've got it connected up to my display. I've got the Magic Keyboard. I've got the Logitech MX Master 3 as my mouse, and my display is one of the Dell monitors. It's 120 Hertz, and I'm really enjoying this setup at the moment. The Mac Mini performs really well, just as because I talked about the MacBook Pro, the 14-inch, the 16-inch. You've seen the iPad Pro M4 on this channel as well. And the M4 Pro chip is really snappy, and it's really efficient as well. So I've really been enjoying using it. It's done a really good job with video editing. So I use a software called Shotcut, and it's not really optimized for Mac. To be honest with you, I think it's more of a sort of a Linux software, and you can use it on Windows and Mac as well. But it's not really optimized for Mac in my opinion. But nonetheless, it does a really good job, and that software actually relies quite heavily on the CPU, and we've got a 10-core CPU on this, so it's not a whole lot of CPU power we've got in this, but actually the way that Apple designed their products and the way Apple CPU works, it actually performs pretty well with my video editing. So I'm pretty happy with it, and in terms of on the timeline and editing my videos, it's quite snappy, and yeah, it performs really well. Just like the MacBook Pro M4 and the M4 Pro chip it performs very similar. In terms of like export times and things like that, it's going to take a bit more time compared to the M4 Pro chip. So the M4 chip is no slouch, don't get me wrong at all, but the export times are a little bit slower. So for example, a 16-minute 4K video in 30 FPS on the Mac Mini took 11 minutes and 51 seconds to export, whereas on the M4 Pro MacBook Pro it took 9 minutes and 53 seconds. So you're looking at about a 2-minute difference in terms of export times. That's how powerful this M4 chip is. It didn't actually take that much longer compared to the M4 Pro, but you are going to get somewhat slower times. But at the same time, one really interesting fact was that it didn't actually kick up the fans. So I couldn't hear the fans at all compared to the M4 MacBooks, the M4 and the M4 Pros. I've had both of them, and I've tried both of them with video editing, and both of them were actually loud when it came to the fans. Whereas this M4 Mac Mini was absolutely silent. It didn't make any noise at all. So that's one big advantage of having a desktop computer like the Mac Mini, is that the fans didn't kick up. The type of design they have with this, the thermals and everything like that, are going to be a whole lot different compared to the MacBooks. So that's one thing to remember with this one. Using it for day-to-day tasks like web browsing, watching YouTube, and using notes and just general things, emails and things like that. This is a really good device for that, and it performs really really well. It's super snappy, opens applications super fast. You can have multiple applications open at the same time with no problems at all. 16 gigabytes of RAM is more than enough for most people, including me. 16 gigabytes of RAM will have you covered. To be honest with you, you can open loads of different applications at the same time. You can do video editing at the same time as watching 4K video, and also checking your emails, web browsing. You can do that at the same time, and you will have no problems on the M4 Mac Mini. That's how powerful this device is. And for $599, that is a cracker of a deal. That is such a good deal in my opinion. And I know Apple charge quite a lot for, increasing storage and increasing RAM and things like that, but I'd actually recommend the base model for most people. Even people who are doing video editing, even content creators, I think they can use this comfortably. This is a really good device, in my opinion. Check out the fans at the bottom, guys. This is the ventilation there, guys, for the processor for the Mac Mini. And we have the power button, the infamous power button there, which in my opinion isn't actually a big deal having it at the bottom. I rarely turn off my Mac Mini. Maybe once in a while I'll turn it off just to reset everything. And in my opinion, I don't think it's a big deal as a lot of people are making it out to be. I can only speak for myself, but I don't actually turn off my Mac Mini very often. And Apple Silicon and Apple's chips and their processors are so reliable and so efficient that you'll rarely have a problem, in my opinion, with turning this off. Not very often. So in my opinion, that's not a big deal. The power button being underneath is not a big deal. Just lift it, turn it off, turn it on. But I understand that certain people have their Mac Mini maybe under a monitor riser, or they have it in places which are not that easily accessible. I don't know what to advise for those guys, but at the same time, I don't think it's a big deal for the majority of us. But leave your comments down in the comment section below. Is this power button being on the bottom a big deal for you or not? For me, it's not, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. So in terms of the performance, I think the M4 chip in this Mac Mini, this base Mac Mini, is actually a really good performer. And I don't think most of us need the M4 Pro chip. If you do need it, you probably know that you need it, and you're probably working with 3D design, and you're probably working with some really intense applications. So for those guys, you probably already know you need the M4 Pro, but for most of us, I think the base model M4 Mac Mini at $599 is more than enough and is a solid performer. If you need to increase the storage, I'd recommend just getting an external SSD, something like this. You can just pick up something like this. This is the Samsung T7 Rugged, I believe it's called. The T7 Rugged external SSD. I picked it up for about £170 here in the UK for 2 terabytes, and I just keep it plugged into my Mac Mini. So it just stays plugged into my Mac Mini, and when I need to move files over, I just move it over as and when I need, just to keep the storage on this nice and clear and nice and fast. So I'd recommend one of these. I wouldn't recommend paying Apple's crazy prices for their storage. Just pick up an external SSD and you'll be good to go. So the base model M4 Mac Mini is probably more than enough for most of us, and it's a really solid performer. I like having this on my desk even compared to my MacBook. So the MacBook docked up to an external monitor actually takes up more space on my desk compared to this. So I'm in a predicament here really, where I've got an M4 Pro MacBook Pro and I've got the Mac Mini, and I prefer to use the Mac Mini most of the time because it's just always plugged in. It's just like a set it and forget it type thing, where it's just plugged in all the time, and I don't have to plug in anything. I don't have to, unplug and plug my MacBook Pro in to the external monitor. It just takes up a lot less space on my desk, and it's pretty much just as powerful as that. But I'm in a predicament here now, really. I've got this and I've got the M4 MacBook Pro, and I'm not really making full use of that, so I'm considering returning it. But anyway, let's see what happens. I may end up returning that and picking up maybe an M3 MacBook Air, or wait for the M4 MacBook Airs. Let's see how it goes. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. But I'd actually like to see a USB-A port on this. I know there is a bit of space here, Apple, if you're listening. There's a bit of space there if you want to put it there. And in my opinion, I think that's the only thing missing. But overall, the Mac Mini M4 is a solid performer. I'd recommend it to anyone looking for a desktop computer. Let's bring it back into fashion, guys. Let's bring back the desktop computers back into fashion, because I know a lot of us use laptops and have been using laptops for a long time, but this has changed things. This, at this price, and the performance of this is solid. And there's something to be said about having a desktop computer which is always plugged in and just ready to go. When you sit down at your desk, it's just ready to go. You move the mouse a little bit, you press a key on your keyboard, and you can start using your device straight away. You can start using your computer straight away, and you can do your work. It's always plugged in, and I wouldn't recommend having your MacBook Pro always plugged in, even though some people do it and they get away with it. But this type of device is made for being plugged in all the time. So the thermals, the design, the build, the internals are made to be plugged in all the time, and they're designed for that. So you're not going to get any sort of battery swelling and things like that, which you may get with your MacBook Pro if you have it plugged in all the time. This is made to be plugged in all the time. So if you're looking for a desktop, then get a desktop PC, in my opinion. Don't go for a MacBook docked up unless you want to plug it in and out all the time. I wouldn't recommend having it plugged in, constantly, even though some of you may get away with it. So guys, to conclude the video, this is a really good desktop PC. It's a solid performer. The M4 chip is super snappy and does and edits 4K video effortlessly, as Apple say on their website. And the form factor is great, the price is great, and the design is great as well. And overall, it's a brilliant product. Apple have smashed it with this M4 Mac Mini, and I'd recommend anyone looking for a new computer, if you're looking for a MacBook even, consider this. If you're going to be in your room the whole time, if you're going to be working in one place the whole time, then consider this as a great option. Whereas if you need to move around, obviously, then maybe look at a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro. But if you are using it mostly in your room or in one place, the Mac Mini M4 base model is such a great option, and I'd recommend it to anyone looking for a new computer. So guys, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it and talking about this M4 Mac Mini. I've been enjoying using it for the last couple of weeks, and it's just an absolute pleasure to use this Mac Mini. So I'd recommend it to anyone looking for a new computer. So guys, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.